For today's intro, I am in the hot, dry desert known as Scorched Gorge, but not well known for its towering pillars or its frequent jellyfish tourist population, but its horrendous map design. Map design that favors long-range, one-shot weapons like the E-liter and your mom. One-shotting feels unfair, but in actuality, you're just really bad at the game. Or at least that's what the game is telling you. So on that note, let's see how many weapons, sub-weapons, and special weapons can possibly kill you in one shot, or is it just a skill issue on your part? It probably is, because you're really bad. Alright, starting off, we have our beloved rollers, in which every single one is capable of one-shotting you. It makes sense since these are very short-range weapons that don't really have long-range capabilities. But it does feel a little bit unfair when you get jumped by a roller unsuspectingly. It feels very cheap most of the time, like they have stealth jump equipped and it's like, what was I even supposed to do to, counter his attack? But okay, moving on now, we have our beloved chargers, in which 6 out of the 8 chargers can one-shot. And this is probably the most controversial class within the game due to most of their range. And I mean, you guys ever get into those games where the E-liter just seems to never miss a shot at all? And most of the time you're actively trying to flank them, but wait, they have ink mines and just shot you into hell? Yep, that's the average experience when fighting an X-rank E-liter, at least from my personal experience. Most other chargers are fine. I mean, the new Z plus F charger was not as problematic as I thought. And though having another tri-strike weapon is kind of getting to me, it's not that bad. And Squiffer and GooTuber are pretty unproblematic right now, so that's pretty much it for the one-shot chargers. Now, onto the sloshers. Blobber is technically the only slosher that can one-shot without combos. Each bubble does 30 damage, which 4 shoot out in a burst shot radius. This weapon used to be a lot stronger back in Splatoon 2 with better kit, and I think for some reason the bubbles were a lot bigger hitbox wise back in Splatoon 2, but now the kit kind of sucks and the bubbles never seem to hit, so it really drags down in this game's meta. And I mean, it doesn't really make up for its one-shot capabilities. Next up is the Brellas, and for the Brellas, the only Brella that can one-shot is the Tentabrella, as that one does one-shot with 119 damage on close contact. Most of the time you're never going to get hit with this, so I'm actually completely fine with this. Plus, Brellas aren't, they're not the best weapon in the game. They're pretty bad right now, so yeah. Now we have blasters, which are the renowned one-shot weapons. This is their whole gimmick, per se. They're like the shotguns in this game for the most part, being able to keep an area with their wide burst shot radius. Blasters are in an okay spot right now. The transitions between games really hurt this class a lot for some reason, but the new movement abilities do help them out. The one-shots are always great and are always practical and make sense, but most blasters are just really slow and they really fail to manage the pace of this game. Like, I used to main range blaster and man, is it a really sluggish weapon. Plus, it's very low ink efficiency. Missing one shot is always extremely punishing, usually if you have good positioning, but I don't. Enough said, let's move on to Tri-Stringers. This is probably the weapon class you're least going to get one-shotted by. For the normal Tri-Stringer, it's fairly hard to get one-shots, but you have to be very accurate to get a one-shot, and it only does 105, barely making the mark. So most players just resort to their AoE shots. And a reflux, while doing more damage, is very short range, and you'll basically only die from it at point blank. And lastly, for our normal weapons, we have the Splatonas. And I mean, come on. These weapons, I get the most one-shotted out from. Either camping the super jump spot or the range that somehow allows them to get that precious one-shot on you. I mean, I just wish they implemented the mechanics for the Splatanas a lot better than just a cheap short-range charged up shot. So many other games have way cooler katana movesets, but in Splatoon 3 we get pretty much two very basic Splatana movesets, and I don't know. I think it's fine, but still. Now, on to sub-weapons, which this should be a lot more self-explanatory. Splat bombs, suction bombs, auto bombs, curling bombs, and fizzy bombs all have one-shot potential. Granted, getting one-shots for the fizzy and curly bombs are pretty uncommon, as that isn't their primary purpose to kill, but yeah, you get the point. Now, with special weapons, this is where things get a little bit interesting. Quick honorable mention, Zipcaster actually does 95 damage when zipcasting through someone. So it's close to a one shot, but not just quite. Now we have Trizuka, Tentamissiles, Booyah Bomb, Ink Vac, Ink Jet, Ultra Stamp, Reef Slider, Tri-Strike, and Kraken that can all one shot. Inkstorm and Killer Whale 5.1 aren't here because they do damage in small increments. Super Chumps are also very close, but direct contact only does 85 damage. And that makes sense because their primary objective is to not kill but to distract. And now obviously I am completely fine with special weapons being able to one-shot because, well, most of the time you're going to need a lot of strategy to utilize their full potential. And honestly, most powerful specials don't really last for a very long time. Unlike Reef Slider, which is a one press action that does nothing, and it's basically an insta-kill weapon, but it kills you. So now that's every weapon in Splatoon 3 that can one-shot you in one instant. Comment down below what you think about one-shots in this game. Do you think they have a place within this game, or do you not? And I heard that Splatoon 1 used to have a lot more things that could one-shot you in one go. So honestly, I think they're making the right direction, okay? And I would love to see what other people's stances are on this. Bye.